Morning, everyone. We're here for the Board of Directors Human Resources Committee meeting. It's June 13th, 2024 at 9:30 a.m. I guess call the meeting to order, and our first act of business will be approval of the minutes from the September 20th, 2023 HR committee meeting. Does everyone have time to review those?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Any comments or corrections or deletions?
No.
No.
They're hereby approved. I believe Dr. Glass, you're going to go over the performance-based compensation for us.
Yes, sir. Oh, wow. And it's a nice summary already presented. I don't have to read. So FY 24 is going very well. As you've been made aware through all of our board meetings, our staff are asked to perform, our billable staff are asked to be billable at a high rate to reach the goals that the board set in our strategic plan 2 years ago. And we are exceeding that 4% growth target that and that between exceeding our growth target and making sure that we are efficient with our expenses in the overhead portions of the organization. If there are sides of the house, both sides of the organization are doing extremely well. And so we feel as though a PBC, performance-based compensation, so we're wrapping up. Everyone's performance evaluations are due, I believe, tomorrow to HR. And once they are compiled, HR will process who has attained a 4.0 to 5.0 and earn a 5% adjustment in their salary, who is between 4.0 and 4.99. Hopefully they're not like right on that, or 3.5 to 3.99, excuse me, and they receive the 4%, and a 3.0 to 3.49 to receive 3%, and under a 2.99, no PBC.
Mm-hmm.
So this is our performance-based compensation. I believe only Dean Johnson is seeing this for the first time, but so last year we did run the numbers, and approximately 85% of staff across all grades generally receive a 4.0 to 5.0, but 15% do not. And so it is a true pay for performance system and a performance-based compensation. These salary increases will be effective July 10th, and they do not apply to the Attorney General's office or the Chesapeake Bay Trust, as they are in separate pension systems. And with that, I would just ask for your approval. The salary card will be updated. So for Dean Johnson, but there were years where PBCs were passed and salary caps were reached. And so generally, as long as everything is functioning well, the executive staff recommends that we adjust the card so that people that are at the end of their grade also receive the increase. And so the salary cap would be adjusted to the maximum for now. I'm sure in future times, as in past times, there will be economic conditions that warrant a change, but as of this year and going into FY25, the executive staff doesn't feel that it warrants it now, and we believe another adjustment to the card is warranted so that all staff receive the PBC that earn it. And with that, I open it up for questions or any comments.
No.
This is just a question, and there is a discipline appeal and performance coming up later on. Do we need to put an asterisk there to let people know that although you're not getting anything, there's some place that you can go to to make out better, or it's not
Yeah,
necessary?
but so as a part of the performance, as a part of the performance review process, every staff member should be meeting with their manager
Mhm.
and should have a plan. There are there is a performance improvement on the, there is a new policy for performance improvement plan, and the new leadership in the human resources department is evaluating what we're doing this year, and we'll make recommendations as we go into next year. But to make sure that this is all connected, so it's all connected between the evaluation, but also the process of encouraging people to improve and then hopefully reach higher levels of performance. With that, I'd ask for a vote if you deem it so.
If there are no more questions, do we have a motion?
So moved.
I second.
All right, so all those in favor, raise your hand and say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, believe we're going to review the 401k contributions now.
Mhm.
Good morning.
Come
So
on.
as Dr. Glass mentioned, this year is exceptional for financial performance. Our billable labor is much more than our budget, our target, and our overhead expenses are way lower. We have many vacancies in overhead positions. We are actively recruiting, but if the vacancies are extended in like some of the cases months, it saves the overhead expenses. So, and then the third portion of it is the interest income is very high, and we allocate the interest to our clients, partners also. So they are benefiting from high interest rate also, but at the same time, MES is benefiting from the interest rate. So considering these three factors, our financial performance is exceptional. This cannot be achieved every year. It hasn't been achieved previously. We don't know, it can be achieved in the future years. So here we are recommending that we share this financial success with the employees. We do not want to give them a bonus. We are recommending that we give one-time lump sum contribution of $1,500 to employees' 401k account. That will be tax deferred and it will grow, and 401k returns goes up and down. So we want to give them this $1,500 at this time, so that if the employees are in that plan for 10-15 years, they will have tax deferred growth, and they will have some kind of a substantial amount in their 401k. So our financial position is very good. We can afford to give this $1,500 lump sum contribution if you approve it, and it will go a long way for employees' future financial security. As is mentioned in the memo, this 401k contribution will not be awarded to Attorney General's Office, Chesapeake Bay Trust, because they determine their own bonus system, and anyone who is not currently contributing to 401k, currently not participating in 401k plan. The last sentence in the memo says, that it will be awarded to the employees, eligible employees on June 28, 2024, who are current active employees as of June 28 and were hired prior to May 28. We can select any date, but this is this contribution is for MES employees' contribution towards our success. So that's why we use the cutoff at least 1 month. We do not want to award this contribution to the employees who just started. So that's why that dates are determined. So, if they are here, they are contributing to the success, even for a smaller portion of time, but at least, they have contributed to some of the success. So that's why we are limiting to employees who were hired prior to May 28, 2024. And we will definitely comply with the Vanguard plan document and the IRS regulation. So if any of the employees who have who reaching the significant amount of 401k limits, then we will limit them. But I don't think there are any employees in that category right now. So I'm open to any questions you have on this one-time contribution to the employees.
I just want to say, I really like the idea of the contribution into their 401k accounts. Great idea.
Mhm.
I agree.
I have one question, Mr. Chair.
Yes.
So if, for example, somebody started March 15th, would they get the full 1,500, or is that prorated for the time they've been with MES over the course of the past year, or how does that work?
It will be a one-time of 1,500, it would not be prorated. It will be prorated for part-time employees based on that FTE, but it would not be prorated because that's our limitation of the plan. That, you can, if you are giving it for the next year, then we can plan it that way. But, since we are giving from the fiscal year 24 financial results, we have to award them one lump sum 1,500.
Okay.
Yeah.
And hopefully, all those employees who receive will stay with us longer. And, so we will get more contribution from them.
Any other questions? Can I get a motion on this?
Mr. Wade, I'd like to suggest that the motion should be to adopt the recommendation as set forth in the Dr. Glass's memorandum of June 13th, because that has the conditions that Mr. Patel was referring to in terms of limitations.
All right, is there a motion based on the documents we received?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. All right, all those in favor, raise your hand and say aye.
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 Any nays? Motion carries. All right. So for the policies that we're gonna review, and how do we want to do that? Are we gonna just review them all and vote once, or do we need to do this individually?
If,
It's up to the chair.
yeah, it's up to you, Mr. Witt. If you
I
feel
would
like-
rather just review them all at the same time, and we'll vote once.
Agree.
Next, can you see Ms. Patton on the screen? Or you come here, let me take my chair.
I'm kind of the table, I don't know about that.
Well, let's put her at the head of the table so she's prepared for her leadership role in the future. You left the papers really good.
Okay, so the first policy we have on the agenda is an update to the bereavement leave policy. This is an addition of section B, death of a child. A little bit morbid to start off the meeting with, but this is in response to some new legislation that came out to add some provisions for paid leave if a parent loses a child. And this goes into effect October 1st, so that's also what we're proposing, is to do that in conjunction with the legislation.
And just for clarity, this is this was reviewed by council. It's statute, the law states that it's all state agencies, not just independent agencies are not excluded, we're included. So it's all, I feel like we didn't have a choice. I voted against it as far as bringing it to you, but it's been reviewed and we don't really have an option.
Any questions on this particular item?
No.
All right.
And I'll just point out, as Ms. Patton said, that when you approve this, the effective date of the approval will be October 1st. The other policies that you're going to be considering today will be effective immediately.
Okay.
Okay.
Number 2 is just a small change to our family and medical leave policy. Nothing is really changing substantially, only the reporting requirements. In practice, employees are reporting their need for FMLA leave to human resources, and that protects the employee from having to disclose any medical information to their supervising chain. So that's what we're proposing changing within the policy, is having the reporting structure be the employee reports their need to human resources, and then whatever is approved based on the FMLA requirements is then, reported through the management chain as appropriate.
Okay. Any questions on this item?
None?
Thanks.
All right, I think we're ready for the next one.
Okay, the next one's a new policy we're proposing, kind of in conjunction with what Dr. Glass was saying about performance improvement. We wanted to implement an official policy about how performance improvement plans are utilized in the agency, and a way for supervisors to implement them in a way that is useful to the employee. It's meant to not be punitive, but more help employees improve. But on the other side, it also allows us to have proper documentation if we need to take further disciplinary actions once the plan is completed or not completed.
Any questions on this item?
MES VIP.
Question?
No.
Okay, the next policy is a new policy that we're proposing, a bullying policy. This is standard for a lot of places. We are also, because we have a dedicated EEO officer, we wanted to pull out bullying from the EEO policy in case of incidences where it's not a protected class that is the reason for the conduct, but anything else that might be a personnel issue. And just a way for employees to understand what bullying is and that they can report it to the Human Resources Department, even if it's not because of a protected class.
Okay.
So very similar to the policy we already have, but it just kind of pulls it out and makes it a little more clear.
All right, any questions on this item? All right.
Okay. The next policy is an edit to our tuition assistance policy. In section J, we added a provision for what happens if someone does not repay they leave the agency and they do not repay their tuition. Per what's set out in the policy already, that they are not leaving in good standing and they need to repay before they're rehired. We've had some instances where folks want to return and they have a balance on the books, so we wanted to make sure that it's memorialized in the policy what happens.
I think that's a wonderful suggestion.
Mhm.
Any questions on this one?
No.
All right, I guess on to the whistleblower complaint.
Whistleblower, this one is also just an edit to the reporting procedures that employees can report to either the EEO officer or the Human Resources Department. That will allow either office to conduct an investigation and then report the findings to the executive office, so they can, help determine what action to take. Instead of reporting it directly to them, it kind of puts some separation between the investigation and reporting the findings.
Any questions on this one?
No.
easy on me.
Is there a motion to approve the policies as put before us today?
Aye.
Second,
All right, so if you're in agreement with approving all these as noted, please raise your right hand and say aye.
Aye.
Any nays?
Oh, Dr. Johnson.
All right, motion carries. I believe that is the end of the regular HR meeting. Is there any other business today?
open business.
So we're gonna enter closed session and under general provisions, Article 3-305. Do I need a motion for us to enter that?
Yes, you'll need a motion and a second and then a vote on that motion.
All right. I have a motion to enter closed session.
So
I'll make
moved.
a motion.
I'll second again. She's fast.
All right. All those in favor of entering closed session, please raise your right hand and say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any nays? All right, motion carries. We'll enter closed session. Will you be carrying